I'm just telling you, I'm being real. That was a hard hike. And shout out to my friend Tim, who I met at the cantina, who also was like, that was a hard hike. It is 6:30 in the morning and I am getting ready to drive from the North Rim to the South Rim, where I'll pick up the Trans Canyon shuttle and go from the South Rim back to the North Rim so that I can start my hike on Friday from the North Rim to the South Rim. You can't drive straight across, you have to drive around the Grand Canyon, and it's pretty big, so that's why it takes such a long time. The shuttle is $90. You can reserve it online, and I'll put the link in the comments or profile. And yeah, so here we go, 4 hours getting ready to drive. There's this incredibly rare thing that happens in the Grand Canyon when there's certain weather patterns, and it's called inversion, where there are clouds in the canyon but not in the sky. It's so awesome. I've actually never seen it, I've just heard about it, so I'm super excited that I woke up early enough this morning to see the inversion here at the North Rim. The drive to the South Rim from the North Rim is incredibly diverse, and you go through a variety of landscapes. You have to watch out for livestock in the road, and this is Vermillion Cliffs, close to Lee's Ferry, a very beautiful part of the country. I'm so grateful that I got to do this trail. Just made it to the Grand Canyon South Rim, and I am in line to pay to go into the park. It's $80 for an annual pass that will get you into any of the national parks in the country, or Grand Canyon is $38 for the day for a car. This is me getting ready to start the North Kaibab Trail. Hey, so I've just started the trail and it's a great day. It's only 70 degrees out and I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great hike. I'm at the beginning. There she is. An easy day hike is to turn around at Coconino Overlook on the North Kaibab Trail. Watch out for mule droppings all the way up to Supai Tunnel. But there's a lot of really beautiful things to see as well. All throughout the canyon, you'll find composting toilets along the trail. One of the great things about the National Park Service is that they're so aware of our environment and making it a better place for all of us. This is the Supai Tunnel. This is where the mules stop and turn around. After the Supai Tunnel, the trail takes a steep drop. This is where all of the water comes from for the entire Grand Canyon, so be really careful with the water that you use here. Sure where I am on the trail, but I projected to be much further than I am right now. My knees hurt pretty bad and where my pack is rubbing against my waist hurts a little bit, but I just keep trying to think mind over matter, and I think I'm a little bit more than halfway done because my Fitbit just buzzed 20,000 steps. So I would stop, but I want to stop somewhere where there's a bathroom and a little more open space instead of just trail. So I'm hanging in there. Throughout the trail, you encounter a number of bridges. And while I was there, it was an unusually rainy time, so I got to see a lot of water features. So sadly, I am not going to be able to stop at the falls like I wanted to because I'm really far behind on time, and my knees have been giving me some really roughness, but I'm kind of at that point in the hike where I'm just like being really smiley and happy to everybody I meet because it's really inspires me to keep going when I cheer other people on. But I am over 10 miles in now, and On my way to Phantom Ranch, trying to get there before dinner. If you look up at this point, you can see the North Rim Lodge. Here is a closer view. So this is the part that they say is the easy part of the trail. I'm just gonna pan to that next. Yeah, that's the easy part. Okay, yeah. There were a number of really neat things along the trail to look at and keep you inspired along the way. This is just after Cottonwood Campground, and I started to get really tired, and I stopped doing video and just pushed as hard as I could. I was counting every bridge, thinking very soon I'm gonna be at Phantom Ranch, and then I was, and I almost started to cry. I made it to dinner, so I felt really good about that. So I'm gonna say that that was the hardest hike I've ever done. I see these people coming down from the South Kaibab and from the Bright Angel, and they're super chipper and they all feel really great. And they went like maybe half the distance and not as much elevation drop. So I can see why when I did this the other direction, you know, I just did a little bit of yoga and then I felt better. The North Kaibab is an ass kicker. Like, it's a really hard trail. And, you know, the elevation drop at the beginning is really intense. And then that makes the second half, which isn't as much elevation drop, it makes it really hard because your body is already pretty taxed. I will say that, you know, I came down here and I was just really hauling my bum to make it in time for, there's other people awake. I was just really hauling to make it in time for the 5 o'clock dinner. And I think I only made it like 15 minutes before the dinner. So, you know, if you can do the later dinner or maybe just leave earlier. I did try to leave earlier. I tried to leave at 6:30, but, you know, there was a lot of things in the way that make it hard to do that. So I ended up leaving just after 7. And that little extra time would have been nice. But still, it's a really hard trail. I don't know, maybe even like stopping in Cottonwood, but then I would have had to bring the extra gear for camping. So there's a lot of, you know, what ifs. It's just at the end like a very personal choice. So today I'm about to hike out. I'll have breakfast here at 6:30. I did go for the later breakfast. They have one at 5 o'clock, but I knew I was going to need to sleep. And it doesn't matter what time I get out of the South Rim. I'm supposed to get to my hotel by 9 o'clock, but I did make a bed in the back of my Xterra. So if I need to just sleep there, I can tell you that after this hike, I would have slept anywhere. Like, I really didn't care. They don't have water down here at Phantom Ranch because there was a pipeline break. So they have water in the cantina so you can fill up your water to drink, but you can't take any showers. So that's really a bummer because I would have loved to take a shower. So as the sun comes up, I'm going to go down into the creek and try to cool down my leg muscles and then do a little bit more massage on my legs. My knee really gave me a hard time yesterday, and at the end of the hike, I just was laying down. I was laying down and I had a hard time just bending it and then unbending it and bending it and unbending it. So anyhow, I'm in good spirits, and you know, it's only 9.8 or 9.4 miles out. So after that colossal day, I don't know, my Fitbit says 21 miles, but it's really supposed to be 14 or 14. It was 14.8. So I'm gonna do the calculation on that and find out what it really was. I don't know. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm just telling you, I'm being real. That was a hard hike. I think this is the point at Phantom Ranch that I started to feel alive again, and I drank a lot of coffee. This was my second time staying at the ladies' dorm, and while I think the accommodations are really nice and the staff does an excellent job, it's hard to be around that many people when you're so tired because some women were spraying bug spray and people had the lights on, some people got up early. It's just hard. I took my time getting ready in the morning and did a lot of yoga before I got started. I'm feeling super refreshed and I have a knee bandage on. I gave a second knee bandage to someone else who was in super need, and feeling ready to do this and get going. I did a lot of stretching, and I think I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna have to make it. After you leave Phantom Ranch, you pass by Bright Angel Campground. Colorado River. Woo. I think I'm gonna cry. Just thinking back to that moment makes me want to cry because it was such an amazing accomplishment to get to the bottom of the Grand Canyon and see the powerful and mighty Colorado River. This is the River Rest House. It's a beautiful and peaceful place just before you start to go up in massive elevation up the Bright Angel Trail. So get your rest in. There's also a bathroom here, and pray before you get going because it's a long ways up. I'm not sure where I am. I'm like somewhere in between River Rest House and Indian Garden Campground. But I'm feeling pretty strong. I mean, definitely better than I felt yesterday. And hopeful because there's only like 6 miles left, maybe 6.5, and I've already come like 18 miles, so yeah, I'm really close. It's just all uphill, but that's actually better on my knees. So the runners are kind of irritating because they don't really follow any hiking etiquette, and that can be really annoying. But the hikers are great and really encouraging. So, you know, it is what it is. I think you get kind of irritated about things when you're tired, and so you're not really as happy and chipper as you would be otherwise. Anyhow, the trail belongs to all of us, so have to get used to the runners. Parts of the trail were washed out from the recent rainstorms, and there were a lot of people working on the trail rebuilding it. It was just so incredible to see so much water running along the Bright Angel. I'd never seen that before. There were actually signs that said, if you see a little trickle of water, but there was just so much. I was super blessed. I'm at Indian Garden Campground now, and that's the halfway point from Phantom Ranch to the rim. I feel great. I just felt a couple sprinkles. It is starting to rain. My knee feels a lot better. I think I'm going to take my brace off for a while, and it only took me 3.5 hours to get to this point, which is fantastic. So I have about 3,000 elevation gain to go, and another 4.5 miles. So I'm going to get on that. It started to rain really cold, and that got my spirits down. So I focused on just putting one foot in front of the other. I turned around at one point to stop for someone, and this rainbow had taken over the entire canyon. And I just felt like it was a sign to just keep going and get focused. And that really renewed my energy. When I reached the end of the trail, I immediately sat down and called my sister. I started to cry and just tell her how hard it was. I'm so grateful that I have a body that allows me to do these kinds of things, and that I have the time to take off and hike all across the Grand Canyon. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.